In today's video, we got a Model 3 and we're actually going to install camber arms, which will work for both the 3 and the Y that you guys see outside there. And the reason you want to install these arms is because the camber from factory is quite off and it ends up eating the tire on the inside, which you guys can see practically no tread left there, and look how much tread there is at the end here. So yeah, you can obviously rotate your tires and that'll help offset a bit, but eventually all of them will eat on the inside. And the front ones do eat also, but not as bad as the back ones. The back ones just chew up through tires on the inside. And what's interesting is not all cars do that. Most of them do. By the way, these are original tires, 30,000 miles, which they lasted pretty well, but it looks like could have probably lasted 35 to 40 easy if, you know, they would wear more even. The Model Y outside is a performance, so you can't even rotate these tires around. It's still too new to tell what's going on there, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to eat the inside first, as it's already showing signs at 3,000 miles. So today we're going to be replacing this arm here with an adjustable one, which is going to control our tilt. So the top of the tire is going to come out more, and the inside is going to go in more, so it's going to sit more straight. Now, one of the reasons I think this car wore the inside up much faster than normal is there's always load here. So this car always has passengers, and it always has stuff inside as we use it for work, so it's always loaded somewhat, and I think this is part of the reason why it got worn out fast. So to mitigate that, we're going to use these by Megan Racing. So this is a pretty great option. We got some documentation and some stickers, and here are the arms themselves, and it comes as a pair for the left and right side. So one thing to consider when you're buying these, make sure you buy this style here, as this is like a really cast metal aluminum. Not sure exactly what it is, but it's a lot much thicker. They have a cheaper one that's like thinner here, and those could bend, so you want to get a robust one. It looks very high quality built here. So we do have this bracket that you can remove. So if we just unscrew this one in, the bracket can come out. Yeah, not sure why the bracket's there. Maybe it's for some kind of wiring. And it is kind of in the way of spinning this thing. So yeah, I'll probably do that. But yeah, essentially what you do is you install this and then you spin this to tighten it or pull it apart. And what I'm going to do is take off the original and then line up this one with that one to get it close, and then we'll adjust it when it's on the car. And the way I'm going to adjust it is using this little meter here. It's an incline meter, and I already measured that I need to go off 0.15. Yeah, you can do it this way, and obviously you probably want to take this to an alignment shop after you do install them. Make sure your alignment is all good. So these bolts, the size of them is 21, and they're actually not too hard to break. It goes pretty easy. And then just using an adjustable to hold the other side. This one here and this one, it should come out. So the only thing you got to keep in mind is right here, this thing's in the way, so you want to use like an open wrench or an adjustable. Same thing here, don't have much room, but on these sides you have plenty of room. So the bolts just slide right out, no problem. Same thing for that one. I got the nut out, just comes right out, and then this thing just falls right out. And we can see we need to extend that one quite a bit, so I'm going to line them up decently close, and then we'll install this back into the car. So let's go ahead and remove this bracket. So we're just going to unscrew this side, and we can see the bracket pinched between the nut there. So we're just going to keep screwing this until it completely comes out. And it is pretty long. And there we go. So now we can pull this out and put this back in. So we're not going to go in as much. So what we're trying to do is make the thread equal on both sides. So you want to, you know, have a decent amount screwed in there for strength. So you don't want to just extend one side. You want to extend them together the same, depending on how much you need. So the best thing to do is get it pretty close, or you can completely screw them in and then hold these two ends and then turn it, and that'll be, you know, exactly the same, but it doesn't need to be that close. So I'm just going to eyeball it here where it's pretty close. So now we're just going to run the nuts down closer to the ends here. But we're not going to tighten anything, as we're going to still install them first, as we do need to adjust it. And we can see we're about equal on each side, so pretty close. So when we spin this, it'll either put them together or push them apart, these two ends. So once these two are held, this will adjust. And I'll show you guys that in a second. Let's go ahead and put this in the car. All right, hopefully you guys can see. So it doesn't really matter top or bottom on this thing. It looks exactly the same. Same thing for the ball end. So we're just going to line it up. Put the big bolt through. Okay, so this actually the wrong one. This is the longer one that goes here, and there's a shorter one that goes here. So it looks like we're a little bit extended, so let's go ahead and pull in a bit. There we go. So I'm just spinning this middle thing to adjust, and we're about to adjust it to what we need in a second. We just need to go ahead and tighten the ends, and this nut goes here. And you guys can see this bushing over here is quite compliant. It moves around back and forth like this quite a bit. Torque them to spec, probably a good amount, as these are pretty big bolts. But when I I loosened them. They were not very hard to loosen, interestingly enough. And if you want to be extra safe, probably put some thread locker on there too. All right, so I got the bolts tight, and now we can adjust the center here. So I'm going to use my little meter on the caliper, and you guys probably can't see much, but basically I'm trying to get 1.15 there. So right now it needs to push out quite a bit actually. So we're going to do that. It's pretty close now. Now I can go ahead and tighten these. Now when you go to the alignment shop, they're gonna, you know, adjust everything perfectly. So you just gotta tell them you got these arms so they can adjust the toe how you want it. So instead of being negative, you can just go either 0 or slightly positive. Yeah, it depends what you're looking for. Slightly positive might not be a good idea, but 0 should be more than fine, because as the car loads up, it does spring and compress. So. Also, when you're tightening all this up, be mindful of this thing because it's really loose. So you want it to kind of be where it wants to be. And then tighten this whole thing up when you lock the locking nuts in. Don't make this all like crooked like this or the other way. So, all right, so I got it all tightened up. Our inclinometer is looking right on the spot, exactly where we want it. So yeah, again, make sure that this lines up with this. You kind of have to hold this and turn these, and yeah, maybe even stick something in here to hold so it doesn't spin. But you'll see what I'm talking about once you install them. It's not a big deal, but yeah, you probably definitely want to have a couple wrenches that are 21 or adjustables for sure. But yeah, having a real wrench would be better. So yeah, after you're pretty confident everything's tight, we can go ahead and put the wheel back. And now our wheel's kind of gonna be more like this, so it's hopefully not gonna eat the inside as much. So if you want to do this to your Model Y, I think it's worth it. Not too expensive, especially if you do it yourself. And this seems like a great adjustable camber arm here from Megan Racing.